Welcome to this week's market drama. We'll start with how the stock market did. The S&P 500 fell 0.28%. Dow Jones was also down. Nasdaq actually was up for the week. Government bond yields rose, and that's the fourth consecutive week in which bond yields went up. So what's going on, right? What drove this market action? There was two main data points. So the first one is we had January's producer price index come out much higher than expected. It rose 0.7% month over month. The consensus estimates were for 0.4%. And that really spooked the market. That was on Thursday. Additionally, on Thursday, we had two Fed officials come out and say that they actually supported a larger rate increase for the central bank back in February. They didn't get it, but that they were supporting that. And that also signaled to the markets, hey, you know what? Like the Fed might actually keep raising interest rates and keep them there. In fact, the bond yield is now forecasting just that. It's forecasting that the central banks are raise another 50, 75 basis points, keep interest rates there for the rest of the year. Just 4 weeks, 6 weeks ago, the bond yield was actually, I should say, the bond yield curve was expecting that the Fed was going to lower interest rates by 50, 75 basis points by the end of the year. So that's a big adjustment. And I think now the bond market's saying, you know what, maybe I'm going to buy what the Fed is saying. I don't think the stock market's quite there. And an indication of that is that NASDAQ was actually up this week, even after these two data points. So what do we look for next week? We have core PCE index data for January. This is actually a data point, an inflationary data point that the Fed watches closely, even more than CPI data. So we'll see what we get there. And outside of that, we're kind of closing up earnings season. So there's going to be less data points coming from that side. And we're going to, unfortunately, be left with more of macro data and implications for what the Fed will do the rest of the year when it comes to interest rates. That's it for this week. Stay tuned for next week.